Welcome to the Wellbeing Ritual, which today is Tuesday, so we're going to be doing some gentle yoga. We're working through Ajna Chakra all week, and that is everything to do with the limbic system, the pituitary gland, and the pineal gland, and all your emotional states, and also clear seeing. So the word clairvoyance comes from the French for clear seeing, and that is to do with the Ajna Chakra. So intuition, moving through the boundaries of limitations that are wiring of our brains, kind of the setting that's normal is there's elasticity there. We can rewire our brains to see more than what's normal. And so this is all the work of Ajna Chakra. So rather than us having a physical focus for today, where we would be concentrating on the asana, the physical practice, this is more about an attitude. So I'm going to take you through a very simple flow sequence, but you have absolute permission always to do your own thing, to refuse to do something I suggest. And actually what I'm hoping you're going to do is really tap into, how can I make this feel better? What can I do to make this feel more amazing? So joy and pleasure are the two guiding principles of life and of a yoga practice. So I'll take you through a flow sequence, and the whole time that you're doing it, the question you're asking yourself is, how can I make this feel better? Where can I make it feel easier? Where is the pleasure? Where does it feel good? And you're adapting and flowing with that. That is an Ajna Chakra practice. So it's all about the attitude, not about the asana. All right, so let's start by I'm going to start up at the top of my mat simply so that you can see my head in shot. Coming up, let's have feet slightly apart and soften the knees. Give your head a little shake. And then do some circles with your shoulders. Let's take a deep breath in as the shoulders come up, and a deep breath out as the shoulders come down. And if you're anything like me, there's quite the chorus of clunks and clicks as we do that. Maybe taking the elbows and circling them. It's quite a different movement. Even more clunks and clicks, potentially. And then if your space will allow you to inhale the arms up and exhale them back and down. So good to have that sensation of taking up space, claiming your space. Inhale the arms up, exhale the arms down. And then we're going to come into our heart space and do some circles. So I pretty much always start my wellbeing ritual practice with some heart circles, but I know that for some people it's quite an unusual thing to do. So that's the great thing about practicing at home, because you're not going to be seen by anyone. You don't need to be self-conscious. And then switching directions. And just notice for yourself the threading of your breath with the movement. Very definitely inhaling as you come forwards, exhaling as you go back, but of course you might be the opposite of that. Okay, and then bring your hands to your hips and do some circles with your hips. Maybe even drop the eyelids, and remember that the aim of today is, how can I make this feel good? Where is the ease? Where is the comfort? Where is the pleasure? And perhaps you might want to slow those circles down. Noticing what's going on in your lower back. And then switching directions. Well done. And coming up to center. Okay, we're going to base it loosely around the dancer's salutation today. So inhale, reach your arms up, overhead. Take a moment to stretch one side and the other side, have a little wriggle. Maybe bend one knee and then the other knee as you stretch. Coming back into center as you inhale, both arms high. Exhale, hands down towards the floor. Now, this is a morning practice. So for some people, the hands are going to go down and touch the floor. Other people, hands can come to thighs or maybe even shins. Drop the chin towards your chest, soften your knees, and take a moment here to rock from side to side. And then we're going to slowly start to walk the hands forwards, coming into a high plank. So the heels go back, the heart moves forward, and we're lifting tummy up towards spine. Lowering the knees to the floor. You're going to bend the elbows, drop the torso down to the floor, roll the shoulders back, and inhale as you come up. So this movement coming up into Cobra, it can be minuscule, it doesn't need to be big. For some people, my back loves to come up quite high, but that's not the case for everyone. You find where feels good for you, and then lower yourself down. And maybe let's take our hands outside of the mat. So fingers are down, palms are elevated away from the floor. Draw the shoulder blades down away from the ears and inhale as you come up. And you could gently rock from side to side here, as long as this is all feeling good. And then lowering yourself down, you're going to take your hands either side of your chest, press into your hands, sit back on your heels, stretch your arms out in front of you, chin to chest. So you're in prayer pose. And then inhale as you come all the way back up, onto all fours, tuck your toes under. Let's return briefly to a high plank. And then exhale, tip the tailbone up high as you can. So you're going to come up high on your heels for now. The pelvis and the tailbone is coming up as high as you can. You're pushing into the palms and moving your heart back towards your thighs. And your ears are lining up with your arms. And then keeping that height in the tailbone and the pelvis, you're then going to slowly start to take your heels down towards the floor. And that might feel better if you do one heel and then the other, so you get almost a bicycle movement through the legs. And just be sure that you are also breathing a really nourishing and rewarding breath. And now you're going to turn the left foot out slightly. The foot's going to stay flat to the floor as you bring the right foot forward between your hands. And for many people, that requires a picking up of the foot and a placing forwards. You're going to bend that front knee. Check that the back foot is still grounded through the floor as you inhale and reach your arms up. So this is Virabhadrasana A. You're welcome to take a little wriggle around here. Hopefully you can see with the camera angle. Okay. Taking a couple of breaths, pushing through that back foot. Noticing where it is that you're sensing this as you breathe. Okay. Take an inhale. And a deep exhale, maybe the hips can come lower as you bend that front knee. Next inhale, you're going to take your elbows out to the side like cactus arms, opening the palms wide, and you're going to straighten the front leg and lift your gaze up towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, you're going to return to Virabhadrasana A. Inhale, straighten the front leg, lifting the gaze, lifting the heart, exhaling, coming forwards. Inhale and exhale. Let's do one more time. Well done. And then we're going to open the arms sideways. So we're going to come into Virabhadrasana B. So the major difference between A and B is the position of the hips. So instead of looking forwards, you're now looking to the side, the long edge of your mat. And you're opening your arms wide. Your rib cage is no longer pointing forwards, it's gone to the side. Watch the shoulders, let them come away from the ears, maybe turn the palms upwards. Take a nice deep breath in, and as you exhale, maybe drop the hips a little lower. And drop the back hand down. Inhale as you sweep the front arm up and over. Keep that front knee bent as we're in Exalted Warrior. Now for some people this top arm might be most comfortable just coming straight up, or you might want to bend the elbow, bringing the palm to the back of your head and then pushing the head into the palm, or you might just keep that arm straight under. And this arm, you could take it behind your back. That feels quite nice sometimes too. Or it can just stay down. Always a million variables on every pose. Inhale as you return, Virabhadrasana B. Let's take the elbow to the thigh. Sweep the left hand up high and get the hips low. So side angle pose, again, there's a million variables. Maybe for today, let's just take that arm alongside the ear, palm faces the floor. Well done. Inhale, bring that right arm up, straighten the front leg. So we're taking a little reverse Trikonasana, reverse triangle. If you feel like you're ever so slightly going into splits, then just bring your feet slightly closer together. And then as you exhale, you're going to lean forwards. Drop this bottom hand down, the right hand comes down, the left hand rises. Trikonasana. So this top shoulder quite often wants to drop down towards the floor, especially if you're keen to get your hand low. But way more interesting, way more satisfying if you can lift this top shoulder up. And get this height through here. Notice how you're breathing here. And then return, let's take a reverse. Bring hands to the waist. Take the hands down to the floor and we'll step back. Little bit of high plank, pulling the tummy button in. Drop to the knees, lower the torso down, roll the shoulders away from the ears. Inhale as you come up. Exhale, sitting back on heels, arms stretched out in front of you. Inhale as you come up to high plank again, and exhaling down dog. So let's go through the little checklist of down dog once more. You're going to lift the tailbone up high, pelvis high, tummy button pulling in towards the spine. Ears lining up with arms, heart pressing back to thighs, and then start to draw the heels down towards the earth. And now the right foot's going to turn out, and the left foot's going to step forwards. Inhale, bring both arms up. So my front knee is bent, hips are down, back foot is flat to the floor. Taking some breaths here. See if you can just drop your hips a little bit lower. Inhale, bend the elbows, straighten the front leg, looking up towards the ceiling or the sky. Exhale, returning to Virabhadrasana A. Inhaling and exhaling. A few more times. And then opening the arms wide, transitioning into Virabhadrasana B. So shifting the hips, shifting the rib cage so everything faces the long edge of the mat. Bending this front knee. Well done. We're going to drop the back hand down, sweep the front arm up, keep that front knee bent. And again, you might want to experiment with where this arm wants to go. Maybe it wants to go high. Maybe the elbow wants to bend and the head push back. That really, for me, it really opens up the side body, which is a stretch I really enjoy. So you're seeking out where feels best for you. And this bottom hand, maybe it goes behind the back. Maybe it stays on the leg. Inhale, returning briefly through Virabhadrasana B, dropping the elbow onto the thigh, taking the right hand up high. And the arm comes alongside the ear, perhaps. See how low you can drop your hips. That's definitely where the beauty is of this pose. Well, for me anyway. Inhale as you come back up, straighten the legs. Again, if you now feel like you're about to go into box splits, then just bring your feet slightly closer together. Left arm is going to come up high to a reverse Trikonasana. And then exhale, lean the left hand forward, taking it down. Right arm reaches up nice and tall. So there's huge space for differences here. Again, some people want to grab hold of that toe. Other people will want to be really high. For me, the key is just keeping this lift up through that top shoulder. Your gaze could be up at the ceiling. Watch that the knees still are fluid, nothing's locked. Well done. And then inhale, returning to reverse triangle. Bring your hands to your waist. Shuffle the feet so you're level on the floor and take the hands down to the floor as you step back. Taking a little vinyasa, dropping the knees. Inhaling as you come up. Exhaling as you sit back on your heels, hands stretched out in front of you. Returning to a down dog. Have a little wriggle in your down dog. Maybe take your knees to a 90-degree bend so you get to push your sitting bones away. And then walking your hands in towards your feet. Going into a forward bend. And you might even fold your elbows, fold your arms, and let that additional gravity help you rock from side to side. Keep the chin tucked. And then unfolding the arms, bring your hands to your waist, soften your knees, and come all the way up. And that is a little flow sequence. You can repeat that as many times as you like. It's got pretty much everything you need for the day, and the invitation always to feel into what feels good for you and enjoy your practice as much as you can. It is a nourishment, a resource. It's not supposed to be depleting in any way. So have an amazing day. Thank you so much for joining me. Tomorrow we'll be doing meditation practice, and I look forward to seeing you then. Namaste.